I think it's a pretty attractive combo.
What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today we're gonna be looking at the difference between CHIPev and ICM for still positions. I would raise. Take limping is a fine option as well.
Yeah,
I think
I think
those
it's
are
gonna
both good options.
mix highly here.
Well, I figured out that the small blind, there's like this little triangle here that it likes to raise a lot.
Oh, ace six offsuit.
This time it's offsuit. You can choose your destiny.
I think you gotta open it, right? No, I guess you could fold it probably. I think folding's fine, I suppose.
Okay.
Where's the
Yeah.
line? Where's the line? I was gonna say, I was thinking ace seven's probably the line.
I was gonna open it. Oh, there we go.
Jam-a-rooney?
Yeah. Good block with good blocker.
It would be a
Let's go.
fine jam from the button at least, right?
From the button, I think it's a slam dunk jam.
Yeah, I'm folding here.
More.
I think Equistacks, I think it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Ken, why are you folding this hand?
I mean, it's bottom of range, right? Like, shit.
I like folding.
That's like a
this.
deal, like if they call off too wide, you're just in bad shape, right? When you call, when you, the bottom of your range like that.
Of course, you're in bad shape. It's still a jam. Limp.
It's
Limp.
also the for the end before ace five or ace four. It depends a lot of the NTs.
No, it's a final table strategy, Eric.
Yeah, so I know,
Doesn't-
but
Doesn't matter whether you have an NT or not. It's just the equity model you should lean towards when you're on a final table.
What was the question? I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you had said.
He's asking whether or not ace five off depends on whether there's NT or not.
Elky,
NT.
ante, sorry. Okay, yeah, hard of hearing.
This one probably
Yeah.
mixes, right?
So
it limps.
to my understanding, Alan, it's not the case, right? These are just like ICM charts made for final tables. And they're based on the page of models that we have put. And they give us like a matrix to play regardless.
Yeah, they give you, yeah, there's the inputs. Like they built these off of a generic payout schedule with, from a tournament. Like all, you can look at the actual inputs that they use. But, yeah, that's all that is. They were run with, I'm pretty sure these were run with Munker Solver.
Right, so here, CHIPev, 20 big blind, this is a fine range. What do you do here with your low offsuit aces? Ace five off and lower.
You might jam those. I don't know.
Sequence stacks. 20.
Just two X in them.
It's
Yeah, I
I like
kind of,
gonna
raising.
it's kind of
raise
too
fold.
deep to.
Okay, how about this? Alright, so I think we will have jamming components at 20 from the button. I don't think you'll have a ton of them, but what hands do you think jam?
I'm sorry, I clicked before.
That's no fun.
I know, I'm sorry.
But, look at the wheel aces. Look at the wheel aces.
So. Like at ICM, you would not see that kind of pattern, right? You would see the thing jamming a lot here.
I think it's actually reverse ICM. I think you're right. Like, I think the trashy aces
Let's
start to
put
do
it-
jamming.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you
what-
can pull up another window.
You're probably too deep. I don't think at 20, I don't think ace four off is gonna shove there.
Yeah,
in
I think
ICM.
that's the other, I think, Peter's also right. I think the behavior is less prominent at 20. I think when you get closer to like 15, you'll start seeing a bit more of it. Um.
Yeah.
The other problem is I think you're gonna have to look at symmetrical, if you want symmetrical ranges, you're gonna have to look at, 6 max. Which will
20,
still get you the, yeah,
okay.
they got 20 symmetrical,
And then RFI, small blind.
or it's not the small blind, right? It's the button is
Oh,
what
the
we're looking at, yeah?
Yeah.
So, no, it's still this is more than I thought, to be quite honest. Right, so it's taking the trashy ace X, which we correctly thought. It's still taking your trashy pairs. But, all of these strong Broadway combos that realize equity well and your suited wheel aces are still going pretty bananas, huh?
Yeah,
Do you have, 15 symmetric or 25 symmetric? I'm just curious how it may shift if you fluctuate the big blinds just a smidge.
yeah,
So
the deeper we go, the less all in we have.
this almost looks like the 20 big blind, like a smidge wider.
And then look at 30.
There, I think there is 30 at the bottom somewhere. They've added it recently. Yeah, and you're just not seeing the behavior at 30,
Button, yeah. So
but,
not jamming at all. Okay,
Yeah, you can see as you get deeper and deeper, it starts folding ace deuce off, ace three off, and it doesn't run the equity with the twos and threes and fours.
so the
Mhm.
first thing we can kind of notice easily is that at like, where is it, 20? Chart, like these offsuit wheel aces, they become more of a jam at ICM.
Mhm.
And usually, like the suited wheels are more like calls, but it's not as clear here. What do you think about jamming the suited aces here?
Well, I think it's just a game of blockers. I think those become pretty popular combos because they have a premium blocker and they realize equity fairly well. So, you know, they can make flushes and straights, which is pretty attractive properties.
Oh, so
I limp this,
I'm going all in here.
maybe. I think I limp this.
So limp,
It's pulling from the suited versions of this kind of a hand, it seems,
yeah,
if you're going out.
yeah. Triangle is here. Oh,
This is just a give up.
yeah. No. Okay, then.
Not
Okay,
bad, pip off.
just jack 5.
Alright, so high-low combo queen X.
So-
20, it's not strong enough to jam, I don't think, but. Is it strong enough to VPip? I think it is.
Think so.
I would think I would raise here.
Yeah,
Fold some, it's right at the border.
yeah. Offsuit, yeah, sure.
Raise it up. Raise it up.
To what size beat?
20 big blinds, 2.1 bigs, or 2 bigs.
Not
I'm
all
kinda
in,
with,
right?
I'm kinda
Nope.
with Pete here. I don't think I would jam this combo. Now, if it was ICM, I do think we jam this combo.
Yeah, I would do so with like 17 bigs, 15 bigs. And I know it's gonna mix that once you start getting above 20.
Didn't we just look at 20 from the button? Wasn't it the suited wheels, the
It
jam?
was doing, it
Yeah.
was doing both, kid.
Yeah, it mixes the offsuit with ace three and jams ace deuce pure and mostly raises ace four.
So
And then jams all the suited wheels.
here we got 25% of the field left. 7-5 off. Small one. Limp,
Oh,
limp or fold?
oh.
I think it's a
I,
limp, bottom of the range.
don't-
limp
One
fold.
gapper, it might limp, one gapper, two,
I was
7-4
gonna-
fold, 7-5 might call, I guess.
I like
I'm
limping.
fold-
I think it's the
I'm
worst
folding.
limp.
It's a
I don't
good
fold.
Barry,
Bottom of the
Barry
range.
was,
bullshit.
correct. Barry, you were right. It's about the worst one. But it is a limp.
I would raise here. I think it's a mistake.
I
think it's
raise here.
I think it's a fold.
Oh,
No,
no,
I think it's a raise.
it's the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
This
This
is
is gonna
100% a
be,
raise.
this is gonna be close. Do you
Uh,
jam this is the question.
It's funny you say that.
Maybe.
No, we're
I
jamming
think
the
it's a
worst.
raise.
We're jamming the worst ones. This is a raise fold.
I think I jam it personally.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Okay, look at the suited ones, man.
Yeah. This one though, look at this.
Yep. It's not pulling over here. Ace, king, ace, king, ace, king versus queens, huh? See that every day.
I think this is
Uh,
bottom of the raising range.
you raised that back.
1 pip off.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm
This
so
is-
sure about this one because it's suited connectors. The odds go down here.
Ooh, go all in.
CHIPev. Yeah, maybe. I don't think
Yeah,
it does that at, I don't think it does it at, ICM, but
What, this? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you do here at ICM? At this
I think
end?
you still jam, I think you still jam it. It's one of those hands that realize equity pretty well. If it's not from here, it's probably jamming from the, button.
See, I think it's raising at ICM.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
might
think
be.
it'll shift the strategy up a little bit, and we'll have king jack and king queen suited that fit in the jam range, and 10-9 fits in the range fold part then.
Could,
So
could be.
This is ICM, 15 equals factor, and it's pretty
Oh,
aggressive.
You're also,
It
you're on the
is.
button, you're on the button compared to the cutoff is the only thing. You'd have to look at the cutoff.
Makes
Let us back one spot.
But yeah, it's still, it's actually folding 10-9. Look at that. But it's still quite aggressive is,
But you
The,
see it moves up to the king queen. It just shifts the graph up a spot.
Yep.
So 10-9 suited goes from a jam to, I said a raise fold, but it should just be a straight fold.
Okay,
mhm.
let's see.
Interesting spot, right?
I would fold.
this
Yeah.
is right on the edge.
Bottom of range.
I
I think
yeah,
I'd raise.
I would raise this probably too. I don't think you're
Think it's
losing
a
chips
fold.
either way.
I think it's a raise from the button, not from the cutoff.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree.
It's a slam dunk from the button.
Okay, min raise.
Ranges are tight.
Oh, you're gonna pile this in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, high frequency stuff, low frequency raise.
I'm never
I
going
think it's-
all in with this. 20 big blinds.
You're on the button though, man. You gotta be aggressive.
I think it's a raise
Uh,
fold.
No, it's a raise for sure, and I don't know, we have to figure out whether it's like.
So
oh,
before you click the button this time, how are you structuring your ace X jamming range here in general in your mind?
Let's see,
Like where you,
I would jam ace jack here. But.
I think ace
10
jack is
the-
good.
Ace ten is like the top of my raising range that I kinda gonna have to call it sometimes. Right? Because I wanna kind of call here sometimes because it's only 25% of the field. We got 20 big blinds, we got ace 10 off and the positions and play like late position versus the blind. They're
I was gonna
gonna,
jam the ace like 7, 8, 9 that kinda don't play quite as well post flop. Off.
I think
seven,
it's
ace
gonna
eight.
jam the wheels, ace 5, ace 4.
Suited wheel, the suited wheels, right?
The wheels for sure, but.
And then
out
the
wheels.
middling ace off. Like
Somebody is
7, 8,
dying
9.
in chat.
Yes,
Do we
I'm
need,
not
do we need to
sure.
call in a?
so
Yeah, we're deep enough. I think it's only gonna have jams with ace jack here.
yeah, we're
Maybe low frequency ace 10.
way too deep to start stuffing a whole bunch of stuff.
No, ace 9, not
No.
ace jack.
Ace nine.
Yeah, it's not even stuffing his jack or his king or his queen.
I forgot it was 25% of the field left. I gotta get used to that. I'm like in final table ICM mode in my mind.
Easy open.
Yeah, I think we do open this.
Fold.
13, yeah.
What?
Easy open.
Fold.
Raise.
Yeah, Barry, you gotta, that's definitely an open.
Come on, Barry.
I'll give you a cheat sheet, Barry. You open 8-10 suited from almost every position around the horn.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it was CHIPev.
Oh, yeah.
10-3, we're gonna fold.
He mixed, it's whatever. It's.
I don't
Queen
think it
10.
opens ICM.
Alright, so this is 50% of the field left, which is not gonna be, too polar. Wouldn't be surprised to see you just open this.
See, I think 50% of the field were more like chippy V, right? And then.
Yeah, you are closer to
These
GTD.
suited tens, king 10 suited, queen 10 suited. They're gonna do better as.
You
a
could be
jack.
right, Louis. I think this could just rip.
If you min raise, they shit on you, you're fold, it's not fun. And you hand that equity. I'm not sure, but I'm going here.
Yep, you're right.
Yes.
It's pulling from that cloud over there.
Yeah,
Hmm. 10% of the
Ripperoonie.
field remaining.
I like a rip here, I think.
yeah, I'm never going all in here.
I have a question on the 10%. Does that mean we're right before the bubble or right after the bubble?
It's
So-
10% of the field left, so usually like, what is it? Like they
Should
pay
be
You
in
pay
the
them,
money.
11. You're in the money in this.
So the
Okay, so
bubble, the bubble has popped and we've actually passed the min cash. We're on the next tier.
okay,
So
so
it's
I'm
still
not
groups of
ripping
people
that.
before we ladder, but
I've
Hey,
been hurt.
I had a quick question. When we were jamming the offsuit aces, was that 10% of the field or was that final table?
So, I think it was final table when we were
Yeah.
talking about jamming the aces.
Yeah, well, it depends, right? Because we looked at chippy V, we looked at final table. We didn't look at really like 25 or 10 yet.
Yeah, we were really diving into it on one hand. I think the specific spot he was talking about, we were
Yeah.
talking final table.
So here I've been hurt too often. Now I'm gonna limp.
I could hear the pain in your voice, Louis.
Yeah,
oh, it's in the triangle or the boomerang.
I've
Oh,
been
the
hurt.
bottom of the boomerang.
Well, so like jamming is a very, very prominent part of this range. I mean, Jack 3 suited is just a pip off. Which makes me suspect like if you did jam it, you're not making a huge mistake. But, yeah,
Alright,
25. 10% of the fields. I think I play this like a limp a lot, but I think it does raise. It's one of these mixing combos, yeah?
we're pretty deep, so I think it limps a lot.
Yeah. Limp raise.
This is a raise.
Raise.
The floor. What are we gonna do with that?
I think
Raise?
we just limp.
Yeah, okay.
These middling offsuit combos, they mix pretty heavily, right? So this is gonna
Yeah.
be a raise sum and a limp sum.
It's, everything's gonna mix, but the
Mhm.
deeper we get, the more limping we get to do. But there's
Yeah.
always that little triangle, but somehow 10-9 is not in there.
Yeah, it's like a pip off. It's just,
Coming out to Chicago.
10 big blinds makes this a little trickier, no?
It does.
I think I
Yeah.
play this as a limp at 10, I guess.
Yep, 10-8 though, look at this.
Yeah. The strategy shifted quite a bit there, right?
From the small blind, the strategy shifts like so much based on CHIPev, where you are in the tournament.
We can let this go, I think. Yeah, we
just
can
go
let this go. I don't often fold blind versus blind pre-flop, but that's one of them. Yes, we raise. Pocket deuces, I think you gotta raise it. It's on the button, right?
Yeah,
It's a
Mhm.
raise.
I was gonna go all in and saying pocket deuce never lose, but
25 is too much. I think it's a
Mhm.
viable answer if you go down 5 big blinds, though.
yeah, how about it's not even an open?
Oh, look at that. Threes are kinda like, eh.
Not even an open.
Not even an open.
You're gonna remember that at 25? Are you gonna fold at 25? I'm gonna be watching.
I thought it was a fold, but I was afraid to say something.
You fall at 30 with pocket 3 and deuce.
Don't be afraid.
Don't, yeah, don't be afraid. He'll only yell at you for at least 5 minutes. It'll be fine.
I'm gonna be watching
No
that to
way.
see if you
I don't
guys
think
are
I've
actually
ever
doing
yelled
it.
at you, right?
No,
Yeah, I
'cause
guess,
See,
I usually try to avoid saying stupid things on Zoom.
exactly, I've never yelled at Joey.
I guess yell's a strong word. Maybe, publicly shame. Ay, caramba.
I'm not
You
sure
raise it
about
up?
this one.
I'm playing. 50%.
Suited connectors go down in value, Louis. We've gotta remember that.
Yeah, equal
Ripperoonie.
stacks, I think this is gonna be a very heavy haul in. Prairie doesn't have.
Yeah.
these.
Yeah, it's a rip.
Even the offsuit ones.
Okay,
We just had one like this.
and we fold.
No,
we-
no,
me
no, that
too.
was,
No.
this is
CHIPev, we
Chippy
always
V.
play, right?
It's
Yeah,
Chippy
yeah, yeah,
V.
yeah.
I love
All in.
the button and then it says 0%. Jesus,
Well, I mean, it's the one that rips.
yeah,
Oh, no.
then
Yeah, this is
It
a
might
limp
be, I
call.
think it's a limp jam, I reckon.
It's a
I
limp
was gonna
call off.
say,
it's not
see
a,
the, it's straight, look at the offsuits. The offsuits are the ones that seem to be limping for whatever reason. I guess it's probably like when you are starting to deal with more ICM, it starts shifting like. You start prioritizing the hands with higher equity. Cause I know in Chippy V, I think this arrangement's flopped, isn't it? Yeah,
well, let's compare.
yeah. 20, small blind. I think the suited ones are usually the ones. In Chippy, well, you gotta look at Chippy V, right?
What do you think the offsuit ones are doing then? You think they're limp jamming?
So this one is 25% of the field as well, right? So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
CHIPev 20. And then. R5, small. So it's the limping component is more like CHIPev. You're less tricky with the linear part of your range because if it checks back, it's not very good, right? And then you wanna,
They're still
trick
both
comes
pretty
from
heavy,
here.
yeah.
the trick
Yeah.
comes from here, right? So you lean towards limp jamming more with these high offsuit hands at CHIPev. And you raise them more at final table or with ICM. King three, I've been hurt.
It hurts, huh?
I've been
You're
hurt.
Pretty
so
deep.
deep. I think you raise
Yeah.
this a lot.
Why? What's attractive to you here?
You got a king and it doesn't have great playability post flop. So I think it's a hand that benefits from fold equity.
I think we start at like king eight or king nine.
I mean, yeah.
Lower kings
I
are,
can kind of get behind raising this out of position rather than limp calling it.
right? You guys
And
wanna
just,
raise?
because if he free bets, you're gone.
I would
Well, I
not,
mean,
I would not raise it. I would just call.
it's probably a fine call, but I'm just saying, so like, okay, so king four, I mean, it is pulling from this area. It's just king three is a smidge too trashy, huh?
If you wanna, like, I'm starting to figure it out here that this part of the deck is rarely gonna go all in. This here, almost never. This
Mhm.
here,
Yeah.
very little. There's gonna be fringes here, but it's always gonna mix. The real one is like king eight. King eight and higher are like not limping so much anymore.
It really doesn't like twos or threes with these high and low cards, other than jamming them if you've got a pair.
So Louis, what are you doing versus a raise versus an ISO with these hands? Are you folding?
Yeah, it's not folding.
Yeah, that's what I thought so too. It's a limp
It's
fold.
actually ripping 27 bigs with the twos and threes there.
Good luck with
Yeah.
that, Barry.
I didn't think it would just ship it in that much, even with CHIPev.
If we have a min raise strategy here at 10 big blinds, I would make queens part of it.
Yeah.
I think, we probably don't at 10. I
Why not?
think we're probably, this is like the best hand we jam, I think.
Yeah, I think this is like a CHIPev play really with 50%, but
Oh, I had it.
no.
No, it's mostly
So-
raise.
So jacks was where it was drawing the line.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, it's
from,
because we're in late position. As we're in later position, we have more raised folds, so we have to have more raise call offs.
Yeah, I'm raising
Sure.
this. All in?
10% of the field left, I'm not sure.
I think all in.
Probably, man, probably. It's 10 big blinds. You're not gonna have a not all in sizing too much here.
Well,
I
if
don't
you
think
have,
it's
if
ever
you
gonna
have
be
a
a
non
raise.
all-in sizing, this is the hand I wanna go in there with. I wanna
Yeah,
have
this
a
is a-
mix of aces, kings, and then this.
Yeah, this is your raise fold. This mirrors your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. The bottoms. Makes sense.
Doesn't mind the all in though.
All
Yeah, I know.
in wasn't, all in still a viable choice.
Totally fine, but only if you're finding raise folds with king five suited.
So limp,
Limp. Yep.
all in here.
Nope. Button.
Why not?
We need to have some raise call offs, and this is a strong enough one to raise call off.
What I noticed here, Pete, okay? The trick with limping this part of the deck disappears somewhere around 20 big blinds because it becomes a disaster if you min raise and he calls and then he realizes equity. So it shifts more towards when we're shorter, towards like just pushing. And then like it's gonna call with worse aces. All in?
I think so.
We're pretty deep. I don't know.
It's
I
kinda
think,
deep, but I think I would go all in.
Yeah, it's too deep.
If there was a hand to go all in with here, it would be this hand. If you had it in the range.
Yeah, but I think we're a bit, just a smidge too deep to do that. Let's see. Yeah. No all in.
Yeah, we are.
That
It's just
pocket
a lot.
pocket twos find a tiny sliver.
Yeah, but honestly, if you look at this, there's no all-ins.
Yeah.
Because we're too deep.
Fold.
Oh, right, I see. 10% of the field remaining. You gonna raise? Yeah, I like that. Awful hand.
Ooh,
It's a fold.
The
yeah.
bottom of the range, right?
Chippy V.
Maybe
might-
10-6, 10-7, but not 10-5.
Okay,
It's not gonna be a big
I'd
mistake.
be okay with fold even if it's a call, I'd be okay folding this.
I was okay with Barry's strategy here, but it's a bit too tight. 10-6 seems reasonable, but no. Oh. So 50% of the player pool.
Yeah, so pretty close to chip to ICM. So this one's gonna be good enough to
Chip it.
live and defend, but it's gonna be maybe too good to jam.
What do you do with queen ten suited or big?
Yeah,
Queen 10 suited is definitely gonna jam.
Okay. And then I would jam this one as well.
I think so.
Oh.
No?
Picks from this angle.
This one's a bit too good.
Okay,
But if we limp and he jams, what, we just gonna call off?
never, not with this one.
No.
It's probably like, the top of your limb folding range.
Okay.
Ray.
Things are cool.
It's gonna mix. This region we've seen time and time again is gonna raise and call.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not clued up with this spot.
I think it's gonna be primarily a raise.
Yeah, very heavy raise. The real question is 10-9. Why is 10-9 not raising here?
10-9 is deep enough stacked.
Mixes.
And able to make a straight a little more easy. Right, the closer you are to the axis of the pairs, the less it wants to raise because it doesn't need to fold out worse hands. It needs to realize its equity to make a straight.
25. We limp, maybe limp fold, I guess. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think?
has to be. We're too deep. We don't have a jamming component.
You could also raise fold here too.
So the jamming component for steal position really appears at like under 20 big ones, right?
Yeah, the jamming component is got like a hard line at 20 bigs.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
This is a close your eyes, rip it in.
Are you sure, Pete?
I'm a
Yeah.
fan of this, Pete. I think so. It's got some, attractive properties. It's suited.
It might be jack 8, it might fold jack 7, but
Whoever's audio is repeating afterwards is killing me.
Yeah, it's Joey. I muted him for now. Just unmute
it's a-
yourself when you wanna say something, Joey.
I think it's a rip too.
might be jack 8, but jack 7 wouldn't surprise me if it gets in there too.
It's pulling from this region of hands is what I
I've been
know.
hurt. I've been hurt. No, don't do it.
I think it's on the boomerang, right? So I think it's going for it.
Don't
Yeah,
do it.
that's-
This
that's-
is the
that's kinda-
floor. It either is folding flat out or it's raised folding.
You have
I
10
think
big
it's all
blinds, there's
in.
still half the field left. Get it in there. You're never gonna
Yeah.
make the final table if you don't stuff it.
So.
But I was right, jack 8 is pure.
I've been hurt.
There's a bit of it.
I can hear the pain in your voice, Louis. I'm sorry for the things that have happened to you in the past.
Thank you.
Might have been hurt, but still need to go on that first date again.
Oh, man.
Just a raise.
This
Yeah.
is mixing raise and folds,
Oh
yeah?
my god.
100% fold.
Cheap.
I look at it, it's a,
Was
yeah,
it?
it's a raise. It's a clear raise, right? There's no doubt about it. Click.
Click. Oh, pure fold.
Okay, let's
Mhm.
go all in here.
I think this is a fine jam.
I have a queen and a
Yeah, I
jack.
think so.
The stone.
I think we need a subscription to the Joe River Academy of knitting it up under 30 big blinds with your small pairs, please.
Yeah,
I told you it's not fault.
You got it, Joe.
oh. Limpy,
yeah.
limpy.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah, wants to realize its
Yeah.
equity of having connected cards with the straight, gets better jacks to continue
Wow,
playing
look.
against it.
Look at this here, 25 big blind, we are going all in. Great,
Yeah, heads up.
great.
I think this is a fold for sure.
How
The
sure?
suited connectors don't play well at this stack depth, and there's 10% of the field left.
I agree, Barry, but you're trying to steal the big blind.
I think we're folding.
Why?
That's
Why
my
you do it so
guess.
wide?
Because we fold a lot of these suited connectors in these spots.
I see
I'm
that,
kinda with
Barry.
Barry.
Like Barry, you look at this, you say, I think we fold. I look at this, I think we tried to steal the big blind.
I'm kinda with Barry. I
Flick
think,
it, Louis, flick it.
I like folding, I think.
Oh, you damn nits.
We're deep enough to go for it here,
Ooh,
You
it's
damn.
close.
but it's not a
I
mistake.
don't
to
mind
fold.
the fold.
Yeah.
EV Warriors.
I mean, we're not fighting for anything yet. We're like branding up the fist only. Right?
Just sizing up your opponents. I got it.
Yeah, we're just like, do you wanna fight or not? Do you wanna
It's on
fight?
the
Okay,
cusp.
okay, then, you can have it.
Yeah, it's yours. Get out of
Same
here.
sort of scenario, but it's chip EV, so I don't mind the
Oh.
raise. He wants to fold.
One pip.
We're gonna make a GTO wizard out of Barry before we know it. Just wait.
Maybe.
At least I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
So as much as I wanna raise this, I've been hurt.
I've been hurt.
I
He
think it's a
says,
fold again.
Oh my,
Now it's a raise.
hurt yourself some more.
yes,
You missed that one.
1%.
Ay, caramba.
Okay, what do you guys do here?
Oh, you gotta raise this. It's a king. You're on the button. It's too good,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah, 25 bigs left. Let's go.
What
Keep
is
stack
the
playing.
worst king you raise here?
maybe, I was gonna say 7 or this one. Like, this is like pretty bottom of the barrel, no?
This
no, on the-
is.
I
on the
think
garbage.
this is it.
This
King
is it.
5.
It doesn't get any worse than this.
I
King
think this
five,
makes it
10%.
king 7 folds.
Jesus Christ, Peter.
25 big blinds. You're huge stacked.
Yay, you nailed it.
Oh,
Oh, Barry, we're GTO wizards. Look at us.
bastard. Good job.
We can lose king 7, forget about mixing it.
I agree with you, Barry. They're crazy.
Alright, this is one of those I've been hurt hands.
Clear.
Yes, oh, it's 10-8 suited. This is
It's gonna be in there. It's gonna be a raise.
the nuts. It's the next best thing after pocket tens.
The next best pocket tens.
It's the new.
It's funny
pocket
how it
tens.
didn't you. That limp.
So like. 25% of the field, 20 equal stacks. The strategy for the small blind is so tricky.
Well, risk premiums are still pretty low. So like, it's gonna be a relatively, it's gonna be like a slightly modified version of chip EV. It's not like extremely different from chip EV. But you know, we're getting to the bubble.
What if we limp there and the big blind raises 3 big blinds? Do we fold?
I would, yeah.
Oh, with
Yeah.
this hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm calling this with 3 big blinds. I don't think you limp fold this hand.
I think it's the bottom.
It may be the bottom. I mean, it's a 1 gapper and it's suited. Like, it's gonna be probably a continue.
So this one has 25% of the field. We are limping at 20 big blind from the
Small blind?
and then
Yep.
opponent's ISO.
Yeah, just do opponent's position big blind. Now.
Maybe it's gonna be here, no? 20 regular versus
They-
three.
Maybe they don't have ISO ranges here yet. Try 50% of the field just to see. They just may have not run these spots. Big blind versus the small blind RFI range, small blind, big blind.
I don't.
Yeah, they
see
just-
it.
I don't think they've I just don't think they've run it yet.
Okay, so
You'd have to look at like something else, like 40, or no, I'm sorry, click, you see BVB, you see BVB?
other,
Click BVB versus ISO.
I made it a little, okay, there we go. So with, yeah, there we go. Oh, 7-5, okay, the floor of the defense.
Yeah, it's just the one gappers. I would be pretty surprised to see a lot of those folded.
One
I mean, look at-
gappers.
You're calling 5-3. It's calling
Yeah,
jack
yeah.
deuce.
I'm not really honesty right now in my game. I'm not limping this portion of the deck. What about you guys?
I draw the line probably around that 7 over there, that jack 7.
King
I don't
7,
go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I said jack. I meant king. It's probably like where I usually draw the line.
I think I'm limping it, but I'm never calling a raise.
so in general, it's like offsuit A. And suited fours, or suited
Mhm.
fives.
Yep.
Offsuit 8, we limp call, and suited 5, we limp call, okay? So for this here.
This is pretty trashy, right? It's probably a limp fold, maybe?
I think it's going in the bin.
Yeah, it's going straight up in the mud.
Yeah, I'd fold this.
It's a limp fold.
Okay to fold.
Well, you also have to remember that if you miss the ones like the very bottom, it's not like you're throwing away a ton of equity.
Nah.
Memories?
Too deep to jam.
10% of the field remaining, everyone's on level chips. It's not, this might, do you think this is gonna be a fold?
This is
I don't
think
think it's
it
gonna
could be a fold.
fold. I
Just
think
a click.
it's, I think
This
it's
is
gonna
a raise.
be
raise fold.
No, this is a fold. It is a fold.
you think on the button, man, 10 big blinds? Ooh, I don't know if I have it. I'm jamming. in
10% of the
game.
field remaining is we gotta be real tight here, right?
No, I'm up for like king 5, king 6, king 7. But.
It may be
Yeah.
a bit wide,
King
honestly, it may
4
be a bit
here. I
wide.
think I'm playing king 4. But king 3 and king deuce, man. I would,
Yeah,
So
they're the
it's a-
worst ones.
It's a bit of a stretch, right?
king 3 and king deuce. It's in there, it's in there.
You're just jamming the better ones, right?
It's
Like this
raising
is still
though,
a
right?
raise. Yeah, it's a raise fold.
Not jamming.
You're raising your relevant blocker and you're folding when someone tells you they have a better relevant blocker.
I would raise
Seems like
it.
a reasonable way of putting it.
Because the other thing is you get better kings to fold when you raise king.
This, I wouldn't be surprised to see jam, maybe? What is it, 10% of the field? 10% is probably not gonna jam, no? I would think maybe a limp call.
But at 20 big blinds, you know, the jamming component is so thin. If you wanna shoot that, it's a bit thin, right? So. I
Risk
would-
premium's not high enough yet, so yeah, it's gonna be
What do
closer
we,
to a,
what's,
it's gonna be closer to a chippy V response, I think.
before
I-
you click, what are we doing different here with Jack 9 off?
Well, the thing
So
is
what
here,
we're gonna-
I think the strategy is gonna be like a rectangle here around the offsuit and the suited part of the deck, you know, from like 10-9 suited to like 10, 6 suited and back, so that's a triangle. So I'm just not sure whether it picks the suited portion or the offsuit portion like Jack 7 off. I think
Probably
I
plays
would
it
pick,
similar.
this is too strong. I want a limp call easily. But I think it realizes
So
pretty well. We don't really have a blocker, so I think it's more of a call.
Yeah.
so you think it raises the Jack 9 off?
Oh, hello, all ends.
Yeah, I was right about the area of the deck, like this rectangle, but yeah, sometimes it picks like one side of it and not the other. Here it's going bananas with both of them.
Very close,
Yeah.
though.
It's pulling from the typical hands we expect to see, right? Like these suited middle connectors that run equity pretty well, the low pairs, and it's just pulling. The thing that's odd for me is the suited wheel aces, it seems to wanna protect the call range
Yeah, limp
as
call with
opposed to
that.
like, yeah, and then like all the other trashy offsuit ones, it's just let's bet all the money.
Yeah. And as we see here, the little trick, limb jam here starts to just disappear slowly. Ace king doesn't do it anymore at all. And then ace queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, starts
Just
to
protecting that, protecting your limp range with those hands. It's gotta
Yeah.
have something in there strong.
Yeah, but the deeper you go, you are, the more like you are at 30, it's gonna do it with ace king a lot more, with ace 10 a lot more. That trick disappears the shorter you go.
Right.
I would stuff it. Or raise,
Oh, no.
just a
I like a limp call here, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Really.
The ones along the axis of the pairs want to realize their equity post flop. When you're deeper stacked like this.
So other suited connectors are going all in here. Pretty weird. Never 7-6 or 6-5. But the 6 probably.
It seems
Because it seems like if you
many
look
si-
at this part of the deck here, 9-8, 8-7, some all ins. Then in the 5s and 4s, some all ins as well. But if you look at the 6th row and the 5 row. Doesn't seem to be willing to go all in with much of them unless it has a blocker. So I think having a 6 or a 5 here is not great. Having both is probably not so good either.
It tends to rip 7, 8, and 8, 9 a lot, doesn't it? In a lot of scenarios. The
Yeah.
suited combo.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But you have to be cautious with that stuff, man, because I've been hurt. See, Galen, tell me what you wanna do here.
Sorry, let me take a look. 15 big blinds. So if we were on the button, this would be a jam, but since we're on the cutoff, it's going to be more of a raise fold. And it's gonna be pulling more from the suited wheel varieties as opposed to this combo.
I like that. Yeah, you nailed it.
Look, I learned.
That's amazing.
So, 50% of the field, I think this may like limp a little bit, but it's gonna be a primary raise, I think.
Never limping with this.
You don't think?
Pocket
I'm not so
queen,
sure.
I've honestly never did it in my life.
I don't do it either, really. I'm with you. Like,
I will
I'm
never
a,
limp queens at any, under any circumstances.
It
I'm
might
a
And
be.
raise
now,
guy.
here it might be a limp
Oh
though.
my god.
Wow, man, look at that.
I don't know.
It
what
does
to-
it
Because
some,
he has
right?
to raise a lot. He has to raise a lot off a 20 big stack to ISO.
Well, it's also just protecting, you gotta have something with some teeth protecting the limp range. Otherwise, he can just kind of attack us with impunity. So I know it's in there some, cuz it's also with like the ace, king, and ace, queen. That's the only reason I remembered that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a raise fold, isn't it?
I think I'd probably rip it.
At ICM like that, feels bad to rip.
50% of the field
It's
remaining.
50% of the field. It's not high ICM at all.
If you had 10-9
No.
suited, you would have had.
So that's not exactly right, Joey. It's low ICM. It's still gonna be roughly about a 10% correction from what you would experience in.
Right, yeah,
in-
Queen
Yeah,
ten
but
suited
not
here,
20,
I think
not
is a great
25 or
jam.
higher though.
no, no, no.
Jack nine suited here, I think is a great jam as well.
But I do, okay, so what we have seen is this region of hands is pretty attractive for jamming at these lower stack depths. So like the middling lowish suited like gappers do a lot of jamming here. I would not be surprised to see this piling it in at all.
It might.
I'm never jamming.
So,
Oh.
yeah. So the range construction I had in mind at 50 is a bit off.
It's queen ten
so-
suited, jack nine suited, 10-9 suited. I wouldn't.
Right.
jam
10-8 again.
10-8 is in
To
there.
a- To Joey's point, right, 50% of the field is, you can basically treat this as chippy V, just with like,
Not, a little bit,
fair-
it's a little bit off from Chippy V, but not,
Well,
not a bunch, right? Not a
Well-
bunch.
well. Let's have a look.
Yeah, we have the tools for that, so let's
because
take
that's
it,
why
let's take a
we're-
peek. It's just RFI from the button, yeah.
Loves the
So,
8-7-8
right.
and the 8-9 again.
So look at the typical range construction. It's basically, the frame is still there. It's still the same thing. You're pulling from the same regions, just to different degrees of intensity. So like what we're, like Joey was mentioning, it's relatively chippy V still, just with it's wanting to run its equity and realize equity a little bit more, as opposed to having some of these raise folds, right? It's kinda
So
what
it's
I'm seeing
like
here.
what, like 1% tighter?
Yeah, I don't even think, I think it's a little tighter and it jams a little more frequently. That's about the gist of it. Like combos wise, it's actually almost equal. You're jamming 2 more combos. But you're folding,
So we're trying to
Folding-
steal chips a little bit more at chippy V, right?
yeah, it's kinda what it seemed. Well, I would almost say the other way around. Like, I think it's.
it
what do you
looks
think?
like Chippy V is slightly tighter overall.
Chippy
look
Yeah,
V is here, it's wider.
Look at King 3 suited, 10-9 off. But the Chippy V adds 9-7 suited. So that probably evens out the differences in the other two.
It's like 0.2% of the ranges, right? So it's like a sliver.
Yeah,
So you're actually a bit tighter at chippy. And there's more, and I guess incentivized to try to steal the blind at with 50% of the field left. So you're raising more at ICM here.
Isn't that a heuristic across the board though, that the shorter we get, the looser we should be, if you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and also here what we should notice that once 50% of the field is gone, there's a bit more merit in trying to steal the big blind and like getting in steal positions, right?
Okay. Does that change when we get to final table more, Louis, or you think it's still the same?
No, I think it gets a like half a percent more,
Right.
you know what I mean? What about this one?
25% of the field remaining.
I would min raise this one. Think we're
yeah. I think I'm in racing. I thought it would be a mix.
Pocket 3, chippy V. What do you guys do? 27 bigs, kinda deep.
I think this could be a jam,
Why?
but it's not allowing it. So it can't be.
Barry, that's what we picked up today, where the jamming component above 20 big blind almost always disappears. Or it becomes a very, very small portion of your strategy.
Yeah.
Here we're
I'm
just
thinking if I'm in the small blind, we're jamming it, right?
Yeah.
Min raise.
Yeah, I would.
Again, it ditched the twos and the threes though, from the Queen X suited.
Yeah,
It doesn't like twos and threes very much.
I would live here. What do you guys think?
I think it could be a limp jam.
Definitely mixes. Oh, this one. 10-7 suited. I would give it a little raisy raise. What about you, Barry?
We looked at a similar hand a second ago, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was 20. It was this hand
But
at
it's
20
chippy,
big blinds we
it's-
just looked at. But that was at
Yeah,
50%, this chippy V.
I think it's going to jam or fold from the cutoff here. There's no way this is just a raise fold, never.
why?
Because the suited connectors don't play well at this stack depth. So it's either a shove or fold. I think it's chip EV. I think it's a jam.
You're telling me it doesn't play well, but you wanna go all in with it.
Yeah, I don't think as a raise fold. I just don't. I think it's going to go all in or fold, one of the two, Louis.
Well,
Fold
what
from the
about we just
cutoff.
try to steal the big line? You know,
We should be playing tighter here
I
in
don't
some
know.
ways, shouldn't we?
I think trying to steal the big blind, most of the time we just pick up the pot. Like what? 70% of the time we're gonna pick up here?
Wouldn't this be a fold from the cutoff?
I don't know. I would.
I
Feels
think
like
it
a
could be.
fold to
I
me.
think it could be a jam. I think it's a 50-50 whether we fold or jam here.
So no one wants to min raise.
I want to fold.
I
wanna min raise 10-8.
Man, I don't know, dude. This is like. It's the cutoff,
We're on
like
the
the
edge.
range. If we're on the button, I could get behind maybe jamming this, but I think it's gonna mix folds and raises. I think folding is fine.
10-8 jams.
10-8.
Yeah, okay. You guys are kinda right. We don't really have a min raise strategy here. Just with aces and then,
We keep forgetting that the 10-8 and the 8-9, the ones with the eights like the jamming.
Yeah.
%50 of the field remaining.
This one's
Do
good
we want to
enough
fold
raise
this,
call.
Louis? Do we want to
This?
fold? Oh, you're going to raise call.
I would, actually, I think it's a lot easier to just rip.
No,
I think so.
it's too good. There's gonna be worse ones that rip. Oh,
It's in there.
It's the same
We don't
behavior
wanna
we
get
saw at 50% of the
I-
field.
I just looked up the 10-7 suited on the old push fold charts, and that's a push
Okay,
on the old charts.
Yeah, I think it's a close one. All
So-
of these 8s and 9s, look, get it in.
yeah, I think it's it. It's fine.
This might be a raise fold. But it's bottom of the range if it is. I think it could be
So-
using 10-7.
I think this is a fold.
I'm kind of
Yeah,
on the
probably
fold
is.
train also. We saw the behavior at 15 and like 10-7 was a fold. I don't think the extra 5 big blinds is gonna open us up an entire pip, so. I'm pretty confident in saying fold.
Well, I have a proposition here. Okay,
Okay, let's hear it.
so if you're gonna go just a little bit out of line, right?
It's a
just
good
try
candidate, yep.
to Move some air, just a little bit, to splash a little bit, to try to steal some pots, maybe sometime. If you're gonna expand your range, say this was not in range, right? Well, this would be like the first one with big. Right?
Yeah,
Cause I
I'll
think
agree.
that 7 is like a raise, and then this one is probably just like 1 pip outside, but it can probably still work. Right?
Yeah, I
If
would
if you're
call this
against
not
tight
like-
opponents,
When you're trying to steal chips, for me, it's better than when you're trying to defend like in a 3-bet pot, right? So you can kind of overextend here, just a hair. To try
I
to.
would call it
split.
a logical expansion for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's
if
like,
you're-
yeah.
It
So
likes the 8 again. It likes
So
the
the-
8 again.
The
Hence-
idea with your logical expansion here, Louis, is because you're still in a spot where high cards matter, your logical expansion comes from queen six suited, which expands upon your king six, right? Because it's going to have a more relevant blocker.
yeah, I guess you're right. It picks like jack nine off here for me, which is a less attractive option. Before it picks a hand like 10-6.
I do like the way, if you was going to expand though, Louis, I do like your thought process. I mean, if you sat with a load of nits here, this is bottom of the barrel, right?
Well, if we're gonna exploit them a little bit, and if they're just over folding a little bit, you could
Then we
maybe,
look.
maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes make a little bit of money here with it.
This is the
Right.
GTO solution. It doesn't tell us how tight the guys are in the blinds, does it?
Exactly. The guys in the blinds are quite perfect here. Even against perfect opponent, I would give it a shot, because
Jam,
Fold.
jam.
Oh,
Come on, this is Chippy V, guys.
oh, I missed the chippy V.
Joey, you got me on this one.
All in,
Barry,
all in.
Barry.
Too
Barry.
much,
What
too much,
did we
Barry.
learn today, Barry?
Too much.
We're heads up now. We're heads up against the big blind. I believe this is a shove now.
Barry, what did we learn today?
I agree with Barry.
Oh
here.
no,
What
It's
did,
a shove.
tell me.
Louis, if they're going to be shoves on this chart, it's gonna come from pocket twos and pocket threes.
I agree, but what we
Yeah.
learned today is that we don't really have a jamming component that these stack that. There might be 5% of the range, right? But it's not really a thing. It's a thing at 20 big blind or less. We're too deep.
I think
I like,
it's a thing here. Heads up.
I love it.
Barry's a wizard.
I told
Barry's
you
a
the
wizard.
two hands it would come from.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed ace nine.
Yeah, but you see here, it's like 2% of your strategy, so it's like. Pairs, right? Overall, look at the range. The small pairs want a limp call. Kind of.
Louis, could you do
Do
me a
they,
favor, please? Could you-
Louis, do those ever limp raise, those small pairs?
I wouldn't, would you?
I'm not sure, just a
I don't
question.
think so.
I play them as limp raises sometimes.
I wouldn't. What was it? And I'll also add another question. Who was it and what was?
It was 27.5. Just look at CHIPev. 27.5 CHIPev versus ISO. We're small blind versus ISO. Uh-oh, you gotta sign back in, it says. What did you do?
Uh-oh,
What have you done?
uh-oh. Whew. Okay. Wants to download again. I've noticed that it doesn't like it when,
You got multiple windows open?
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you know why? Because a lot of stable nowadays, they build up a server on the Windows server, and then everyone that runs their session under the same kind of a different user, but the way it works, it opens different windows. So like you can have 10 person on the same account or 20, and they all make the search like that. So I think that's what is going on here.
They don't like it.
Oh, yeah,
BVB, small blind, Versa to ISO.
the ISO, oh yeah, okay, that's what you do. What's wrong with you?
Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I'm just kinda curious. I mean, that's how I play those. I was, more asking if I was making a mistake.
You limp jam. Cause in my mind, the easiest thing you can do, that's just try to hit your pair.
So the way I mentally the way I mentally structure this is these are hands with a lot of equity, but poor equity realization, so. They're gonna benefit from fold equity as a result. So. Trying to,
Do you
Take
think you get
Also-
ISO enough?
what's that?
Do you think you get ISO enough?
Oh, yeah, man, I think
It's
people
one
over
lot.
ISO. I think people over ISO, to be quite honest.
Do you find, do
Also,
you find an ace three every now and then?
I probably, I mean, I do find some suited aces. I don't know if I pull from the trashy ones.
Okay.
Enough. I do definitely do these small pairs, though.
the thing is as well, when you're out of position with these small pairs, and most people are sort of ISO 3.5, you no longer got the odds to even hit your set out of position.
Okay,
So you're better off limp jamming, right?
I guess. Quite interesting. So here we should min raise, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think you get the odds to set mine so much.
it's not happy at all when we multi-session. Look at this.
You think that's another reason, what, Galen? Why the says to limp jam there? Because obviously
that,
you don't
Barry?
really have the mathematical pot odds to call to hit your set no more.
Yeah, I mean,
Once
I
they
think that's,
ISO.
I think that's part of it. I think like. Every time you call there, you're gonna hit your set, like, what is it, 1 in 11 times or something?
Yeah,
I
but you're
think,
not getting 10-1 pot odds.
7 time game.
is it 7? Okay, so like, you call that and you hit a set 1 in 7 times.
You
In
know why
addition
it's
to the
7
fact,
time? By the way, Joe told me that and I thought it was funny. It's 7 time and in French, a 7 is set.
sit. Oh, that's kinda,
It is.
So when you hit the
That's-
set, it's 1 every 7 times. That's why they call it the set because it's the French word for trips.
that's a pretty interesting little tidbit there.
Joe told me that the other day. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's good. But
Listen.
yeah, I think it's got something to do with that, Barry, in addition to the fact that, basically 10 times.
realization.
Well, yeah, 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be a high card on the board, right? It's just, there's always gonna be a card better than your little pair out there.
Oh, by the way, Galen, I jack for you.
You're gonna hijack? Yeah, thank you. I need some practice.
I know, no,
We need to work on the hijack a little
we
bit.
all need it. The whole peanut gallery.
Gotta love peanuts.
Right at the bottom of the range.
Okay,
Oh, come on, jack 4. We can make the flush. I mean,
I mean,
I mean.
I would probably be in there. I open.
Who folds
everything.
that bunch of nits?
Okay, this is an interesting combo. 15 equal stack. There's only 25% of the field left, so it's still gonna have.
Can I negotiate a little bit?
Alright, let's hear.
I'm ripping queen 9, but not queen 8.
Right, I think so. I think it's still gonna have some of that chip EV structure left. So that would basically kick queen 8 out of the equation. I
Yeah,
think it's gonna be a raise.
yeah. Oh, yeah, queen 9.
And you see this, you see the structure we were talking about? It's still got the framework, the little pairs, the trashy aces, and this blob of suited connectors, the strong ones.
Oh, I would min raise here and then fold.
I think you can jam this, 50% of the field. I think you can jam this, maybe.
Yeah, it's better
this one might-
than raise.
I would raise.
I don't think raising's bad. I don't think raising's bad, but I think this hand could work its way into a jam.
Yeah, this is more
You
of a.
think we've got
jam
many-
because If we face a jam, we're gonna have to fold and we don't want to fold.
Yeah, exactly. So like this hand works fine at running 5 cards, but it doesn't do fine versus jam.
We
It works
also,
better
I
as-
think, get slightly better hands than ours to fold, like king jack off is folding.
Yeah, I'm in that boat. That's where I'm
Have
at.
we got too many open jams here with this?
Nope.
So,
No.
look,
Not too
look,
many.
so we start losing a lot of jams at 20. Like, it's not a huge part of the strategy as Louis kind of gone over multiple times today. But, in the core of that strategy, you do find some of, these hands. So it's still,
Yeah. Mostly,
Still.
mostly with the 10 or the jack, the big suited broadways.
yep, it's still, quite reasonable.
I think looking at that strategy though, you're not going far wrong by just not jamming anything 20 bigs.
Yeah,
I think you're right, Barry, to
fuck
be
out.
quite honest. Yep, I could buy that.
that's a good act.
We know kind of where this falls. This is like the floor at best.
Yeah.
25% of the field, I was gonna say, wouldn't be surprised to see folds.
I think it jams on the button though, Louis, right?
Yeah, I
Quite
guess on
sure.
the button, it's like suited eights and not offsuit suited seven, right?
Yeah, I can buy that. That seems reasonable to me.
Chippy V, it's
Chippy
either the
V,
floor or we fold, right? So it
Just
could be a
fold.
call, right?
Just
It's
fold.
gonna call,
It could be a
but it's,
call.
I would still fold it.
Yeah, it's, a fold's not horrible.
I would agree. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're not making a big mistake either way, to be quite honest.
Uh-oh,
Fold.
25.
no way, you have trees.
I know you
Guys,
wanna
tell me,
raise it,
tell me,
Louis, but it's
if
not
the
good.
tree comes on the flop, how could you ever forgive yourself?
I think
I
I would
think-
raise it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's in a fold.
I'm gonna say it's a
It's a fold.
fold. It's from the hijack.
Yesterday, I
far.
always
Alright.
would have raised this. Today, I'm always gonna fold it.
It's a fold.
Jesus Christ.
Deeper,
I
it's a
can
fold,
say,
so
I can
fold it
say it's
now.
a fold with
The
some,
raise from the
confident-
cutoff or the button.
This is.
I think it's full frequency from the button. I think it's mixing from the cutoff and I think it's pure from the hijack.
Okay. But what if the tree comes?
Well,
You'll
you
never
have to
see it.
live,
You'll never see it. You're playing 20 tables.
yeah, and you have to,
You can be damn sure I'll see it. I'll be looking for it.
it's just a harsh reality you're gonna have to live with.
But when you're playing live and you're only playing one table and the flop comes 3-3 ace,
You're gonna cry.
Well, you don't have to worry about it live because they don't have the rabbit hunting feature typically every hand when you're live.
Fold.
What do you do here? Jack nine.
Easy
Hijack, man.
fold.
It's a
Fold.
hijack.
Fold.
You get out of here. Get out of here.
I'd fold here.
Wow.
Go fold the
jamming
laundry.
Jack 10, okay. Jamming Jack 10 and mixing with queen. Right.
Jack 10 has better equity with it straight, and Queen isn't as a relevant enough blocker.
15.
So here's a good debate. Alright, I think we're gonna VPip here, but the question is,
Wow.
No doubt.
are
Do we cool
how?
off?
Are you, well, that's a good question too. If you raise, do you call off? I
Yes,
think at 25, we're gonna still see some of that chippy V structure. And, that makes me wanna jam this, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think I want to jam.
I think we're getting close to the money here, right? This is what this
Yeah.
math is, right? So
Yeah, 11% is gonna be the money. So I mean, it's
Oh.
like,
Open calling becomes less of a nice option, right?
it does become less of a nice option.
So we might as well
It's a
like,
raise.
force them to.
I don't
fold.
think we're jamming from the hijack.
When you say the chippy V structure, you're talking the small pairs, big suited connectors.
Right, so what we see in these steel positions from the stack depth in chippy V is it's jamming basically all of the trashy aces. It's jamming some of the suited wheel ones. It's jamming your worst pairs and it's jamming your suited Broadway. So,
And the rest of it
Um,
is a raise, that the rest of the VPip
it's.
is, yeah.
I think
Correct.
this is
it's-
right on the verge.
Yeah, this is
I
not
th-
our worst pairs
I-
though, so.
I think
No.
in game though, I'd hate to play this post flop.
Well, it's hard to
Yeah.
play first flop, right? I
Alright.
think this is probably the
Yeah.
best one we jam and we start might raising eights.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are raising eights,
close.
nines.
It's close.
We're probably raised call off with all those eights and nines.
Right, and I think that's to whoever asked, I think these hands operate better as jams. Because they're so indifferent versus a jam, where it's like, pocket sixes is in a miserable position where. It doesn't wanna fold and it's almost negative EV to call, I would guess.
Yeah.
So it's just, trying to simplify the tree by running its equity. Much better jammer than a caller, I think. So, yeah, do verse 3-bet and just. You could put it on the button to cut off, it doesn't really matter, just to kinda see what we're doing. Right, so look, there's the strategy. You're folding sixes and it's in a miserable position. So as opposed to putting yourself.
Min raise
in that
calling with sevens.
Right, so as opposed to putting yourself in that position. It wants to just, run its equity, as all of you had correctly identified.
Okay.
It's hard to play post flop.
Okay.
1, 2, it's losing money basically when you're calling pre-flop.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting spot.
It's a horrible spot when you get doubt sevens there in game.
Yeah, yeah, it's really not a fun part of the range to have to play at that stage.
What do we-
I think it's a limp folds, perhaps? I don't know. This
Yeah,
is a tough
Think
one.
it's a fold. No folding.
It starts, it's a pip above. It starts folding 1 pip below.
you got 10 big blind, Barry. You can't fold the high card, really.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough
Then
one, right?
I would min raise or fold. Which one? I've been hurt.
25 big blinds.
15.
This, I'm sorry, I said
This
25%
could
of the
be,
field. is
this
what I
could
meant.
be the one that is just folding, right?
I think it's just folding. I think it's gonna be folding.
Yeah,
10-9 even.
that's right.
Yes, hijack 20 should be a raise. It's the floor. But it is a raise. 22.5. I think this is this one doesn't like calling versus jam, so it's probably gonna be a jam.
All offsuit aces.
Chippy V.
Chippy V, yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm-
think it's a jam.
I-
I think
I
it
think I
pips
might
ace
raise
nine.
it at Chippy V.
I
Alright, so
think
if you're
it pips
raising it
ace nine
Chippy
as the
V,
all in.
if you're raising it Chippy V, what are you doing versus small blind jam?
Folding.
This is not good. This is
Clearly
like
fold.
the floor of the calling range for like less than 22.5. But we're just like not gonna be happy for good stuff. It's just easier.
Right. I think it's
Oh,
easier as a
wow.
jam. Okay, but like, we're a
Just
little
don't have
deep,
jams.
but you're seeing the behavior come in here, right? So not a huge part of
Yeah.
the strategy at 22.5, but the hands that are starting to be the most profitable to do it. You got some ace nine, some ace eight, some ace five, some king, queen off. And I think that's gonna be because of how they respond to a all in. They struggle.
They button versus 3-bet because we raised.
I think all these hands are gonna be like 0 EV calls or folds, the ones that you're seeing jamming behavior from there. So.
When did I start to jam?
You gotta look versus a jam, so go down one more. Here we go. So as we kinda theorized, ace nine. Is basic, it's marginally profitable if they're jamming correctly.
Yeah.
Ace eight mixing. Ace five was another popular one. Look at it, it's folding. King, queen off, marginally profitable. Like, you see where like if you could correctly identify the calling range here. You can start correctly identifying what the jamming range should be also. Which I think is a pretty cool little trick. Ten eight off, probably a let go. Jack four, maybe a limp folds.
Yeah, we saw it. It does play. Done that one before. Fold.
I'm
Fold.
folding this in game.
I think it's fine fold. I'm on kind of on the fold train. Yeah, it's right there. Ooh, this is like this is the floor or a fold. I'm not sure which. Maybe queen seven.
It's very
No.
close. I think
I
it's
think
going to be a
it's-
raise because we should be playing looser now.
10% of the field.
Otherwise, it's normally a fold.
Yep, it's the floor. There it is. Pocket fours from the cutoff, 30 at 25. I think we raise this.
Yeah.
Nope.
You think
Louis,
fold?
you
Might
know
be-
you raised this.
Okay, okay. Trying to improve and get rid of these fours, threes and twos. I guess the deeper we are, in the late position we are, you try it. No, we're gonna get away with this more and more.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna be
Fold.
probably a fold,
Fold.
but I think I
Maybe
do
fold.
raise this in game some.
I don't,
Yeah, it's probably not bad. This could be a jam. I'm kind of, I'm on team jam with this, I think. It's the suited gappers, right? Yeah, it's in that blob over there, the boomerang.
the mega boomerang. And
Yeah,
this
it's a big one,
boomerang
isn't it?
has an extra like that.
Jamming a big portion of our range.
10 bigs, yeah. This should be a limp fold, I would guess.
Yeah,
It's too good to open fold, I think.
no, it was open fold, it's too bad.
hmm
Fold.
No, don't do it.
Okay.
This is what temptation looks like.
Hijack, fold.
This is what temptation looks like. I think so.
This is
Okay,
also temptation. Let's go. all
You
in.
can jam this. You can jam this. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the one.
The good old pocket threes.
This is going to be a raise, I think.
Yeah,
At 30. We're meant to be loose here.
Okay, yeah.
way to find the line.
You could probably
off
jam
big.
this.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
you
or
could probably
10.
jam.
Yeah. It's a
No, I'm
jam.
folding. I'm folding.
100%. This is a
No.
jam.
It's not a fold.
It is not.
It's a jam. We know 10-8 suited, it loves it.
Yeah,
Cut off.
yeah.
We be jamming. You can
Raise.
VPip this. Yeah, you can VPip this.
I
Nope.
was like, are
Just
you
fold.
guys sure?
Just out.
10% of the field. I gotta start paying closer attention to that.
Snap.
What is this? 10% of the field, 25? I wouldn't be
Fold.
surprised to see jams and folds here. Jams or folds. No, well, I'm wrong because it's only a raise, so.
Wow. Well picked, Louis.
Send Galen back to the Joe River Academy of folding small pairs in ICM spots.
Yeah,
Yep, I took that course, passed it, flying colors.
Is there a course for it?
No. Not yet anyways. Hint, hint.
I'll be looking for the damn course online later.
Fives play.
I think
From the
it's- yeah,
hijack's the
Yeah.
floor. You can definitely open this.
Yeah, fives. Ooh, not gonna
Raise.
fold.
I like probably a limp or raise. I would limp here, I think.
Yeah.
personally.
It raises Jack 9 suited, Jack 9 off, I reckon. But I could be wrong because it's 10%
what
now.
do you do with jack eight offsuit?
I think I'm playing jack eight like I played jack nine. I'd probably just,
See,
I'd limp. I'm not gonna be surprised to see raises here at all, but
I'm playing them very differently.
It's a limp.
I would
10%
limp
left.
this one and raise jack eight.
10%. Alright, I think a chance.
is that how it
Nice one, Lou.
splits? Yeah, they're
Blitz, but
relatively. the same.
that's the thing. Ooh, that's almost like, that's like a cash game chart there with the jack. with the offsuit jacks.
Almost.
Yeah.
Jack five.
I mean, I'm okay raising this, I think.
Look,
Did it say the jack nine was a raise?
It was mixing
You
frequencies,
can mix,
but
you can mix jack seven, jack eight, jack nine with the jack seven and the jack eight more than the jack nine.
Okay.
this
The
one-
jack seven a lot more, the jack eight a little bit more than the jack seven.
I think this one might limp. Worst tens raised, maybe, huh?
so 25% of the field left. We're gonna see some of the chip EV structure and these offsuit connectors. They like to mix raises and calls, so I still think it's gonna be that.
How often do you go all in?
Jams and calls.
Yeah, and that's because of the added ICM pressure, right? So. It's gonna wanna just run its equity a bit more, is what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
That's an effect of the ICM that you see at 25% of the field. So as risk premium goes up, we just run our equity more. You could probably, limp this or jam this, maybe. I don't know.
Limp call,
I'll
right?
open rip.
I don't
I'm
hate
all in.
opening ripping, I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all in sometimes, but it's more like a,
It's more like a call.
No, it's more like a rate, all in.
no, it was, the whole part of this area of the deck.
Yeah, I was characterizing that one combo by what the rest of the region was doing.
Oh, okay.
With 10% of the field left, I'm surprised it rips here.
Why is that, Barry?
Aye.
Just because we're all pretty even stacks. 10% of the field to go. Ace eight suited seems a little bit marginal, but
Fold.
You gotta prioritize blockers.
Well,
Equity
you
realization.
gotta remember, once the bubble burst, the ICM pressure goes down for a bit until you start reaching the final table.
That's correct.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Normally I'd limp here, but I'm not sure now with 10%. Maybe we just fold it. No. Ace five off folds.
What do you do here, Barry?
Hmm.
You're gonna rip it. If you rip an ace eight, you're gonna rip this too, surely.
I'm a new man, Barry.
The hijack, fours and the hijack.
There's 10%, but like you said, the
10 big
ICM
blinds
goes
left.
down, so
Well, at 10%, we are right on the money bubble.
we probably should fold it then.
Well, you guys
But why
explained
do
it
we fold?
before that you already are in the money.
Yeah, I think so.
It's almost like
I
chip
think it's
EV
just
spot
past,
this.
just past the money. Has to be, because otherwise, like, it wouldn't use that kind of asset strategy.
Must be like a chip EV spot where we just got into the money. We're short. We're on 10 bigs. Do you think that's why it's doing that?
I don't know.
I mean, we're not looking at any big ladder jumps, are we? So I'm guessing.
No, I think it's more like, once we reach the money, it's, you know, it's the usual effect, like the chippy V kind of. It goes down a
Yeah.
little bit, the ICM factors goes down, and then, I think that's pretty much, that's what happened.
Yeah, I think so.
I would raise,
That's why the ace eight was a jam as well then.
this is the Joe Batterman special. You can't.
The
fold.
Joe Batterman special.
This might be part of the
Oh
shove.
my goodness. How?
Wow.
I thought it was the Joe Batterman.
On the button.
I would love. Oh. It's like a U here. It's like you. You wants to raise. What happened to
I think
you?
this is gonna be a fold.
You.
Fold.
Has anyone seen
It's
you
gonna
in
choose.
the last decade?
It's gonna choose 7, 8, or 8, 9.
Come on, Barry. Need to win
I,
some.
I
chips.
think I'd play, I'd VPip this maybe.
Gonna
Yeah.
lose this one.
Come on, Barry. Don't be in it.
It's in there.
Only a sliver.
Yeah. Don't be a punter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queen three, I would raise. Is this too loose?
Too
I don't
loose.
think so, Louis. Well, we've got a 3. Maybe we should be picking the 5s or 6s.
Too loose, Barry.
King 3, you go for it. More relevant blocker.
Oh, I'm tempted.
Hijack too early.
Alright, gentlemen,
fold.
I'm bowing out.
Bye,
I'll,
Galen.
talk to you all soon.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
See you, Galen.
Have a good one.
Easy jam.
Think so, right? No getting tricky with min raising or anything, right?
just stuff the turkey. Oh boy.
Jam.
Yeah, jam, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's jam.
You guys
2s and 3s with jam.
Think twos
4s,
and
5s,
threes and a
6s.
couple.
Okay. You got it.
I don't think it's that bad with jamming a small pair when your head's up on 20, 25 bigs.
Yeah.
Because how often they're going to wake up with a pair? Most of the time you're going to be in a flip if they call.
And you're always getting equity to fold.
Yeah.
Lots of equity.
Min raise?
It's a close one, but I'm going to say fold.
Min raise.
I'm not sure, Louis.
Why not? I have a king.
It doesn't like 2s. It doesn't like 2s and 3s with his high-low card.
It's just like ace king, Barry, except instead of an ace, we have a three.
Yeah, this is a
Don't
race
look
call.
at it too much. It's very similar.
Fold.
Yeah,
Fold.
10-8. 10-8 you get out, but 10-7 you can fold.
This might have a sliver of VPip, but I doubt it.
The floor.
10-8.
Jam it.
Yeah.
No, no, it's not the one.
Don't trust cash game players for 15 big blinds.
I was close.
No.
Fold.
25. I think this is gonna creep in the bottom of range here.
Maybe.
Hijack. Cut off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Look at that bottom of range.
Don't trust
6%.
tournament players with offsuit combos.
Also, Peter is running a new study session every Monday, I think.
Yep, Monday evenings, 8:30 Central Time.
They do a lot of pre-flop stuff, so make sure to check it out.
Yeah, the basics of pre-flop range construction and pre-flop choices that lead to good positions on flops, turns, and rivers.
Ooh,
So was
By
that
the
like
way, I don't think
7:30?
you even said it. Peter, congratulations.
Yeah.
On winning the tournament.
oh my
yeah.
god, he got me so bad.
You know what? It was an exploit against Louis. Because Louis knows I'm nitty, he's never going to bet his value for that size on the turn. So I knew he was bluffing.
I got scammed. Jack 8, no.
Was that the tournament that was put on for us? What?
The
Yeah,
free
that
roll,
was
Barry.
fun.
You have a free roll now.
Yeah, I only just heard about it. When's it on?
It's gonna be Friday after the study session. I don't know if we do it again this week. We could do it. We haven't
Okay.
talked about it. But last week it was $50 for the winner and there was bounty for some of the biggest players. So I think it was a $15 bounty and $50 for the winner.
Well, I'm up for playing it this Friday if it's on, that's for sure. Or next Friday.
Ooh,
It was a lot of fun.
all in?
coming for you,
Yeah.
Louis.
Well,
Oh, this could be this is right on the edge.
it's.
Yeah, there's an
easy to
edge.
gun for.
Right on the
I-
edge.
Raising be good.
Ooh,
I think it's gonna have
Fold.
maybe some slivers,
Fold.
gonna creep.
maybe some slivers.
Ah. Do you think this just jams, Louis?
This might be a jam.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's better as a jam. You guys are right.
We don't want to
You
get
just-
stuffed on with that.
It just came to my
Jam.
head, but a little bit too late that the
No.
suited broadways like that, like the jam in that spot.
Are we jamming
I
here?
don't think we min raise when
Never.
when it's chip EV. If it's ICM, I think we min raise.
Why would you
Oh.
not been raised here, Barry?
Because it's chip EV and the standard play is to shove more here with any two cards.
I think this is a very, the hand is too strong.
I think this is a
looks- It
raise.
looks too fishy. It looks too fishy if we
It does. You're right, Barry. This rips. I thought it was like playing
See?
with faces here. But we're too short.
no. If it was ICM, I'm sure it's 100% a min raise.
Okay, so here. I would fold.
That'd be real fishy a min raise in that spot.
It's just pocket kings, Barry. Come on.
Yeah, but it's fishy at chip EV, isn't it?
Three
Why are you
bet
min
me.
raising at that stage?
Three bet me, Barry.
You're fishy, fishy, fishy.
Put
Um,
me in the box. See what happens.
10% of the field remaining. Yeah, I like it. Likes the eights.
And not this. Or
Ooh,
maybe, yeah,
fold.
maybe it's the floor. No,
10-7's a fold.
that's a thing is mixing.
Okay.
But you see, like this part of the deck's not too happy. Pocket four, I will try to fold it now. But it's a big, I will try.
I'm not, ooh. I didn't think it went that low.
Yeah, no. ICM, fours, threes and twos do very poorly. Uh-oh, what do you guys do here?
All in.
Max or all in?
Same as chip EV, pretty
I
much.
think I'd rip it.
Do we have a min raise component in our ranger?
Nah.
Ooh.
Well, with kings and aces, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit, but not.
Okay. Overall, mostly a jam. Min raise?
Ooh,
Yeah.
30, it's deep. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be a raise.
Fold.
EV, king six, what do we do with king seven?
King eight's the minimum. King
King
eight's the
seven.
minimum, Louis,
King
we know.
seven, king seven.
Slivers. Ooh, nailed it. A7. Yeah, it's not that clever, but it might be in there.
This is a raise fold. Raise, you can get called by
Raise
worst
fold.
king in big blind. Oh boy.
This might be in the raise boomerang.
Yeah, this is gonna get there.
Alright,